Hi, I'm Sean D. Francis, and this is the 8th video in the Campaign Builder Workbook video series, How to Make a Homebrew D&D Campaign Setting, where I am going through the Campaign Builder Workbook step by step, building a brand new campaign setting from scratch. We are well into this. I realize now that my goal of 9 videos was really ambitious. I failed to realize just how many tangents I go on and how I like to fill time with stuff. But let's get right into it. We're still building out the detail of the region of the Grimcrest Barrens. So we're dealing with the history of the region now, and we'll get into that. Whoa, hello. Okay, so what event had the most profound effect on the region? I'm gonna let's like I historical events should not always be political events. Should not always be humanoid-driven events. I like the idea that there was once an earthquake 7 years ago. And who was affected by this event? Everyone in the region. And what was the lasting effects? We're going to have some destroyed roads and destroyed buildings. So as the players explore the region, their PCs will encounter buildings that are collapsed, and that could create interesting environments for them to have adventures and have encounters. So it just gives me as the DM some options, some interesting reasons to explain why this bell tower is now destroyed. It's like, oh, that was caused by the earthquake. So I don't have to keep on saying, well, that was a accidental thing that occurred in this particular village, and these accidents have occurred everywhere. No, it's just there was an earthquake that hit the region 7 years ago. Not everything's been rebuilt. This can explain why sometimes physically on the map places are closer together, but the time to travel between them is kind of long. I can say that the road has been destroyed, or there was a bridge connecting it, and that's been destroyed, and it takes time to cross the river or the ravine or whatever between point A and point B. So that's really all we're dealing with in terms of the ancient history. What was the most significant event in the region's history, ancient history? We're gonna. I have a thought that what was once here, this land has slowly been colonized by other folk, but who was here before? It used to be part of a dwarven kingdom, because we have the mountains. We keep on talking about the mountains. So this is going to be the death of the dwarven king. And what are the signs of this event still experienced by the people in our land? The ruins. In fact, you can see our first adventure hook is ancient ruins, and that's what kind of triggered this idea for me, is like, how do I explain those ancient ruins? Well, they're dwarven ruins, and so there's going to be these signs, these outposts of the dwarven kingdom. The dwarven kingdom obviously was in the mountains, but they had people going out into the surface world, military outposts and traders and that sort of thing. And those places became ruins. And maybe some of those ruins were taken over and became something else. But that's where you can get some interesting hidden passageways into deeper catacombs, that sort of thing. But Dwarven Ruins is the thing that's been left behind, which then leads us right into that first adventure hook. We have the ancient ruins. And I started taking notes on this stuff just so we don't have to dwell and wait for me to come up with it as we're talking. So why has no one visited these ancient ruins recently? Well, for the most part, they were lost to history. So why would someone visit this location now? I am going to say that there is a buried artifact there that needs to be recovered. And what is there to challenge an adventure? Well, this ancient ruin, I'm already thinking it's going to be a lost temple, a temple of a dwarven god. And the temple has been taken over by evil cultists and demonic creatures. How about we spell that correctly? What's there to reward an adventure? Magic, divine blessings. If you have you can have a paladin to this god, or cleric of this god, or just a cleric of a good god. There could be a reason why they want this dwarven temple cleansed of the evil that is there. And the PCs may not even realize it until they are actually at the temple and then are contacted by agents, messengers, angels of this god. So something to consider on what could those kind of interesting rewards. It doesn't have to always be treasure. It doesn't always have to be items. It can be kind of abstract sorts of things. A divine blessing, if we have to put it into game terms, maybe that's a inspiration once per day kind of thing. Gain advantage on certain kind of rolls once in a while. You can play it up that way. I would prefer to keep it very loosey-goosey and allow to have some divine intervention, to be able to explain divine intervention at a random time in the future. It may be a nice way to avoid a total party kill. So who knows about this location? And I was already thinking about that this would be something that the mage Tareth, am I spelling that right? Yes. Knows about, has been researching, may have uncovered in research. The geographic obstacles, I'm already imagining that this is kind of set into a mountain somewhere, and I want lava. I don't do a lot with lava, but lava's very D&D, and so I like the idea of like this lava, cascading lava going around this temple. And so you have to cross the lava, and there's this threat of fire, and then you have these demons, and yeah, it in my mind it's already glorious and wonderful, but you can't see into my mind. What are the dangers of traveling this location? Well, if it is known that this location is being sought after, the cultists are going to try stopping it, so they're going to send demonic forces to stop anybody who is searching out these ruins. Okay, our second adventure hook is the Dragon Den. So why has no one visited this recently? Well, it's going to be in remote mountains. And why would somebody visit this now? Well, dragons like to collect things. It's going to be to retrieve a stolen item, stolen treasure, something of significance. But yeah, it's just a thing. It's the MacGuffin. What's there to challenge the adventure? Well, a dragon. And the reward, a dragon hoard of treasure. Who knows about this location? We're gonna make this a Jillian and or general quest. Both of these individuals know about it. Maybe the thing that is stolen is really important to a group of people that both the general and Jillian are connected with, and that is what can trigger this call to action for the player characters. And the geographic obstacles, it's in the mountains, so I'm just going to say mountainous region. And the dangers, it's going to be random encounters. But the dragon has minions, so well, standard minion type. So we have random encounters, kobolds, hobgoblins. Going into the mountains is a dangerous thing. So our third adventure hook is the monastery. Why has no one visited this location? It's just really out of the way and inconvenient. And why would somebody visit this location now? Out of necessity, maybe? To retrieve something that is being kept there. Maybe there's a scroll or book of knowledge that has been entrusted to this monastery. What is there to challenge an adventurer? I think monastery, if you've ever read Name of the Rose or seen the movie Name of the Rose, like monasteries are interesting places for a mystery, and I kind of like the idea of having a murder mystery or something of that sort at the monastery. So we're gonna say, actually, I'm gonna make it explicit. It's a murder mystery, and what's there to reward? Knowledge, information, allies, training. If you have a monk PC in your party, this could be an opportunity to teach them new things, new ways of doing things. This could actually even be their monastery. And they were sent out a long time ago, and now, since we're in the region level, this is probably more of a tier 2, tier 3 adventure. So the monk would have to be 6th level, 4th to 6th level. But they could be returning back to the monastery for additional training or to report back on what they found while out in the world. And that could be the hook of why they're coming to the monastery now. The other hook is who knows about this location. I have Baron Rothgar. Whatever is stored there, whatever this monastery is keeping there, the Baron needs for some reason. Maybe it's a special ring that he plans to use to propose to his loved one. I don't know. We don't have to figure that out till later, luckily. The geographic obstacles. I'm going to say that this monastery is on the other side of a wasteland. And there's vicious storms. Vicious electrical storms, and it's just this desolated, almost like a desert that needs to be crossed to get to the monastery. And that's why it's so remote and so inconvenient. And the dangers, we're just going to say that in this wasteland, it's filled with goblins. So at this level of adventure, the goblins shouldn't be a huge risk, but there's enough of them that you wouldn't want to be fighting them on a daily basis. So there's going to have to be some group stealthing across the wasteland for them to get to that point. So there we have the 3 adventure hooks filled out. We have a understanding of the basic history of the region. From there, we can start filling out even more information and fleshing out the campaign setting. From here, we're going to go on to detailing the country and history of the country and the leadership of the country, and that will then lead to fleshing out these adventure hooks and building out the campaign plot line. So that'll probably be 3 more videos. If you are enjoying this, if you're getting some value out of this, I would appreciate it if you like the video, just as a signal to me that somebody is getting some value out of it. I would love to know if you're using this tool, if you find value in this. I would love to know how you create your campaign settings. I would love to have that exchange of ideas of how people start fleshing out their homebrew campaign settings. This is just a tool for one way of developing a campaign setting. This is not a universal tool. There are other ways of doing it, and I would love to discuss that. I know that I've used maps before to start my campaigns, and I've used just the players. They basically have told me, it's like, I want to play this kind of campaign, and then I fleshed it out from there. So contact me at Sean D. Francis on Twitter, Sean@SeanDFrancis.com. Leave a comment on this video, and we'll connect and we'll talk about campaign settings. So I'll see you in the next video.